Good morning all. Is it possible to thrive in Norway in 2020? It's difficult. It's difficult, absolutely. To survive, to adapt, yes, it's possible. Whoops. But is it possible to thrive? Now, the more we know about what it takes to thrive, the more likely it can become. But on the flip side of that, the way our lives have developed, especially in the last 100 years, where we spent the largest portion of our waking time outdoors, whereas now we spend less than 5% of our waking time outdoors, and that has a significantly detrimental effect on our health. And in the summer, with the longer days in Norway, you might kind of just about get away with it. Again, it's still not going to be a case of thriving, but it's a case of surviving, adapting and surviving. But come winter time, no, there's not a chance that we can thrive unless we do things differently. And one of those things is, right, looking at the sky, we're not going to get any sunlight today. So that's out of the picture already. But then we come down to, okay, so we can eat to thrive. That we can do, absolutely. And we can make sure we get enough of the right foods at the right time in order to fill our body with the right kind of vitamins and minerals it needs. And of course, at this time of year, one of those things that we're getting a lack of is vitamin D. And we can get that through supplementation, through our diet. But let's not beat around the bush. If your body had a choice as to where it gets its vitamin D from, it would be through the synthesis by sunlight, by the UVB. And we don't get that. We don't get that for another, 4 months or something like that. And even then, it's very, very short, the window that we have. So we can do it, we can adapt and we can survive by eating the right things and obtaining the amount of vitamin D that we need in our diet. But we make it very, very difficult to thrive. And does that mean we shouldn't live here? If you are absolutely adamant and you want to thrive, you want to give yourself the best chance to thrive. But and the best climate to do that isn't Norwegian. It isn't. And there's no, that might sound harsh, but it's the truth. But we can do things to adapt our lifestyle. We can get out more, even when it's raining like today. We can supplement our light with other bits of light. We can make sure we're not completely dosed up to the max with like blue light and artificial lights. We can sort that out. We can make sure we get enough exercise. We can do different temperature, subject our bodies to different temperatures, etc., etc. And we can sort out our own environment in that way. But that still means that that's a lot of adaptation that you have to go through. That still means there's a lot of, at the start, conscious thinking about this, that and the other. So for me, as I've said many times before, an absolute game changer has been red and infrared light therapy. I didn't realise how much my body missed those particular wavelengths of light, simply because you only hear about sunlight being get out in the sun for vitamin D or whatever, but the sunlight is so much more than that. And luckily we're able to take specific wavelengths of red and infrared and put them into a lamp that you can have at home, and so you can get that every day throughout the winter when you can't get the sunlight. And you will be amazed at how much better you feel, how much different you feel when you subject yourself to that on a regular basis. It's because I feel it when I don't have it for a few days, because I like to not put myself in front of the full body lamp for a good few days, maybe up to like five days, up to a week, to remind myself of what it does do, what it's capable of doing. Not just in the times of, right, oh my god, I feel so much more energetic. You think back to summertime, you think you're outdoors, and you just feel like you've got more energy and you sleep better. You sleep better in the summer, again, because you've been out and doing more, so you sleep better. But also, the specific wavelengths of light can have an anxiety reducing effect, can have a positive effect on depressive symptoms and stuff like that. And so we know all this, and luckily we are able to extract specific wavelengths of light and allow you to use those wavelengths of light over winter to reduce the symptoms of kind of sad, to reduce the symptoms of lethargy that you feel over winter. And it's brilliant. It's one of those things that I believe that every single person, especially in Norway, any kind of northern latitude country, needs, as well as adapting their lifestyle to make sure they get enough time outdoors and stuff like that. But I cannot stress to you enough the importance of red and infrared light, or the lack thereof in winter time, because we don't get outside and we don't expose our body. And I'll say it again, your body is a big solar panel. Your body effectively needs charging up from the sun, and we put clothes on, and look, I've got just a part of my face is exposed, that's it, and that's under a very thick cloud coverage, so I'm not exposing myself anywhere near as much as I need to, but luckily I've stood in front of the red and infrared full body today, front and back. Today I did 12 minutes front and back, from about 40 to 50 centimeters away, and I'll change that depending on what I need and what I'm going for, because unlike some of those poor explanations that you see from some people that sell red and infrared light therapy, they say 5 to 20 minutes 2 to 14 times a week. They don't give you any explanation as to why you might do 5 minutes, why you might do 20 minutes, why you might do 2 times a week, why you might do 14 times a week. Nothing. It's just you put it on. Say for example you do 12 minutes like I did, but you do 12 minutes from say 20 centimeters, and then so you can work out how many joules of light, how much joules of it, how much energy is penetrating or is at skin level, and therefore, say for example it was 2 joules a minute or 3 joules a minute, and you stood in front of it for 12 minutes, and so you had 3 times 12, 36 joules. Alright, so 36 joules might be great for some deeper issues, but it's far too much for the superficial issues. And so if you stand in front of it every day for 12 minutes or whatever, then you've got to understand that you might be doing great stuff for deep down, but if you also want skin stuff, then learn to take it back, learn to have maybe 4 joules. So you stand in front of it you stand maybe 50 centimeters away, and you stand in front of it for 2 minutes. Understanding that the way light scatters and the reflective nature of our skin will reflect away some of the red, and the scattering will again stop the penetration. So you might err on the side of caution and go, okay, I'll work it out to do 6 joules even though I need 4 joules, because I'll think about light scatter and reflection on the skin. but you're much closer to getting superficial work done with 6 joules than you are going to be with 36 joules. 36 joules you would have already saturated the superficial levels, but you would be getting a much better effect deeper down. So it's important that you know these differences, and that's why I write individualized guides for everybody that purchases a lamp or a panel for a specific thing. I will give them an individualized guide based on the research that's out there, in order to say, this is what you want to do for that, but remember that if you also want skin stuff, then you're going to have to separate them out in order to not saturate the superficial stuff when you're going deep. Can we thrive in Norway? It's very difficult to thrive in Norway. Can we make it a lot easier and a lot more possible? Yes, by sorting out an environment and adding in specific lighting, specific environmental factors, the diet and exercise, different temperatures, etc. Especially in winter, you have to be aware of your light situation, aware of how much you're outside. Like, work it out today. Work out how much of the time that you spent awake you were outside in normal daylight and how much you were under artificial light. And I bet you'll be surprised by how much time you spent under artificial light. And remember, that artificial light doesn't change. Therefore, your hormones and your cell gene expression is a little bit off where it should be, because a lot of that gene expression is cued by differences in light wavelength ratio throughout the day. So it's important that you change your lighting throughout the day. It's important that you get the right kind of light, and it's important for your overall health that you look into the right kind of light at the right time of day in order to make it the best possible chance of thriving.